Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a white paper that makes one of the boldest claims I've seen in a while. We're talking about a plan to completely revolutionize global healthcare for, yes, all 8 billion people on Earth, all powered by a single crypto token. The project is called BitPul.
So, that's the big question, right? Can one crypto project really solve one of humanity's biggest, most complex problems? Or is this just a classic case of ambition getting way ahead of reality? Well, let's dive into the white paper and see what they have to say.
Okay, so before we can even get to their proposed solution, we really need to get a handle on the sheer scale of the problem BitPul claims it can fix. And folks, it is massive.
So get this. According to their research, the global healthcare market is worth a mind-boggling $8.1 trillion right now. And that number isn't standing still. It's on track to hit almost $12 trillion by 2027. It's just one of the biggest economic sectors in the world, period.
But here's the crazy part, the real paradox at the heart of their whole pitch. Even with all of that money sloshing around the system, billions of people, especially in developing nations, still can't get access to even the most basic healthcare. And that, right there, that gap, is exactly what BitPul says it's going after.
All right, so that's the problem. Now, how in the world does the BitPul white paper pitch itself as the answer to all this? Let's get into their grand vision.
Okay, the whole thing really boils down to this: the BitPul token, or BP for short. The big idea is to create one single, borderless digital currency made specifically for healthcare. They built it on the Hedera network, and they say that's because it's super fast and has really low transaction fees, which, is pretty important for something like this.
And this goes way beyond just payments. The white paper lays out this huge 5-part mission. They want you, the patient, to actually own and control your own health data. They want to build a universal payment system, reward people for making healthy choices, let you see a doctor anywhere in the world, and even set up a democratic system to govern the whole thing. It is incredibly ambitious stuff.
So that's the big idea. But how does this all actually work in the real world? Well, the white paper breaks it all down into a 3-part ecosystem.
First up, you've got Medicup. Think of this as the front door. It's their telemedicine platform for virtual consultations. Second is NovelPacs, which handles the really high-tech stuff like advanced medical imaging and AI Diagnostics. And then holding it all together is Nodax, a Danish company providing the back-end infrastructure, the security, and, this is a big one, European regulatory compliance. These 3 are designed to be the pillars of the whole system.
And this is where you can really see how the BP token is supposed to be used. According to the white paper, a standard virtual doctor's visit on Medicup might cost you between 1 and 50 BP tokens. But if you need something way more complex, like an expert radiology review through NovelPacs, well, that could be over 50,000 BP. It gives you a real sense of how they've priced out different services inside their system.
All right, let's talk money. We've seen the tech, now let's get into the project's economics, the tokenomics, straight from their white paper.
So, here are the key stats. They're capping the total supply at 10 billion BP tokens. That's it. No more will ever be made. The starting price they've set is 1.5 cents per token, and like we said, it's a utility token running on the Hedera network.
Now this is where it gets really interesting, how they're planning to distribute the first 3 billion tokens. A huge chunk, 30%, is set aside for community growth and adoption, which includes a big presale. Another 25% goes to partnerships. And check this out, only 10% is allocated to the team and advisors, a number that investors definitely pay attention to.
And believe me, the white paper is not shy when it comes to talking about potential returns. They call the presale an excellent entry opportunity and straight up project a potential appreciation of over 500%.
Wow.
So let's break that down. The presale price, this is the absolute ground floor price for the earliest investors, is set at just 1.5 pennies. So all those big projections they make, they're all based on starting from this tiny number.
Okay, so starting from that 1.5 pennies, the white paper then presents what they call, get this, a conservative price target of $1 per token. And they project they could hit that milestone within just 2 to 3 years of their launch.
So what does that actually look like as a return on investment? Well, that jump from 0.015 cents to their $1 target translates to a projected return of 566%. And that's their conservative scenario. They also lay out an optimistic target. That would be a return of over 1,500%. I mean, those are some seriously bold numbers.
Okay, big numbers are one thing, right? But actually doing it,
That's the real challenge. So what's the plan? How does BitPul expect to go from a document to being used all over the world? Well, they've laid out a pretty detailed decade-long roadmap.
All right, so the clock really started ticking with their mainnet launch in July 2025. The next huge milestone is the worldwide presale set for early 2026. From there, they're focusing on Europe and the UK for a couple of years. And then, starting in 2028, it's the big push. They plan to expand globally, especially into emerging markets. The big goal, to have a mature ecosystem up and running by 2030.
And to kind of wrap it all up, the white paper really frames the entire project in these big, idealistic terms. They're positioning it not just as a financial investment, but as a chance to invest in the actual health and well-being of the entire human race. Which brings us right back to where we started. On one hand, the BitPul White Paper paints this incredible picture of borderless, accessible, token-powered healthcare for everyone. But on the other hand, getting there depends on massive global adoption and hitting some pretty wild financial targets. So the question remains, is this the future of healthcare or a super high-risk gamble? As always, our job is just to explain the source. The final call, that's up to you. Thanks for watching.